Hey, what is up, my YouTube followers? I have a rematch for you here again today against Toronto Pure, who is a guy who comes on to my Twitch channel every now and then, as well as follows my YouTube. So, hi, Toronto Pure. So yeah, that's all the introduction I think this needs, and let's go ahead and get into it. So, I'm going to lead with Garchomp right now, as he decides to lead with Landorus, which is a pretty common thing for people to lead with in this gen. Kind of expected, but whatever. He goes for the knockoff. Now, something I noticed about his team in Team Preview is he's bringing a extremely bulky team with him today. It's actually become somewhat of a fad here in OU, that bulky teams are starting to make a comeback. I mean, we've seen Amoonguss and Quagsire both come up to OU, and part of the reason why is because of these bulky stall teams that have taken the metagame over, kind of, since, the Hoopa Unbound was banned. Anyway, we both end up setting Stealth Rocks up with our leads. I'm just going to get off a Toxic here against Landorus, and that's pretty good, because by the looks of it, it is bulky Landorus. It has the, the leftovers, so that's what I kind of think it is. I go into Pidgeot now, kind of thinking that he would go for an Earthquake, but he ends up just going for the U-turn, which is a pretty damn good play, because now he's going to be able to switch out into something, pretty much anything that he feels safe with, like this Chansey, which Mega Pidgeot really can't hurt, because Mega Pidgeot is a special thing. Unfortunately for me, I didn't really bring a way to get rid of Stealth Rocks, which is really going to hurt Mega Pidgeot trying to come back in, or Pidgeot, or... Yeah, I know some people say that I'm pronounced Pidgeot wrong, but from what I understand, the anime actually called it Pidgeot one time, and Pidgeot a few times, so really it can't decide either, so there. I'll just go back and forth between Pidgeot and Pidgeot. Actually, I'm not going to, because my Mega Pidgeot is going to just die here, because Chansey is just going to beat me, which I really shouldn't have let this happen, but it wasn't really going to be able to come back in many more times. Looking at his team, Mega Pidgeot really doesn't have much room to do anything. So I go into Quagsire now. I'm hoping this thing doesn't carry Toxic, and it does carry Toxic, which I really probably should have expected it to carry Toxic, but I was just kind of hoping it wasn't. And yeah, I try to go for the Curse. And now I'm just going to try to go for the Earthquake to get damage here on this Chansey, as he actually switches out into his own Quagsire for the Unaware ability, which is a good move, and yeah, that's just like I said, a good move. Means that I'm going to have to switch out, because obviously the Toxic Poison is going to let him win that matchup. Another thing he did with that Chansey is used Aromatherapy, so that hurts me because, well, his Landorus isn't poisoned anymore, so it's going to be able to come in and still hurt me a lot without taking damage on itself, aside from some minute Stealth Rock damage. So I'm going to obviously switch out. I decided to go to my Clefable here, and this is a Calm Mind Clefable with Life Orb, which I said I kind of really like, and I'm just going to see how good it does. He ends up getting the burn off the Scald, but for once I don't really care, because I do have Magic Guard. It means that I, well, don't take that damage, so that's pretty cool. So he goes into his own Clefable, and I have to hope that this thing is not a Calm Mind Clefable. I have to hope that it's one of the, just a normal Cleric Clefable. And we'll see, because if it's not a Calm Mind Clefable, I'd feel pretty confident that I could win this matchup. So I just go for a Calm Mind here to see what he would do. And he decides to, I believe, what does he do? He just goes for a Soft Boil to see what I would do, or see if I would hit him again. But no, I do get the Calm Mind, and he does end up switching out, which, well, actually, he stays in and just go for the Moonblast once to see. And as you can see, I even got the crit on his Clefable, which is kind of nice, as he gets another Moonblast off on me. Not really sure why he would stay in if he wasn't a Calm Mind set, but I guess he was hoping that would do more. He would get the special defense or special attack drop or something. But now I'm going to be able to kill his Clefable, which is pretty cool. Now, looking at his team, I actually feel pretty confident with this Clefable that I can, because he can't stall me out with Quagsire. I'm pretty confident that I can deal damage to this thing. The only thing that really is a problem is Landorus, because as you can see, it does about half with Earthquake, which means I'm not going to be able to set up against this Landorus. And looking at the rest of his team, though, I obviously can take care of Chansey eventually. Clefable is okay by me. He has a Conkel Dur, which is weak to Fairy. So I feel really confident that my Clefable could end up winning it for me. So I go into Quagsire here, hoping that I can take an Earthquake and maybe hit him but I really should stop underestimating Landorus's damage, because as you can see, it's nowhere near a 3-hit KO. He is going to get the 2-hit KO, and unfortunately I don't have anything to take Earthquake anymore, so yeah, I pretty much have to sack something to this Landorus every time it comes in, otherwise, yeah, he's just going to be able to kill something, so that's not really good. I go into Conkel Dur now. I do have Ice Punch, but instead I'm just going to go for the knockoff, kind of figuring that he's going to predict Ice Punch and probably just U-turn, which I do end up getting, so I'm going to be able to get a knockoff on something, and he ends up going into his Quagsire, which is not a bad thing to knock off because it gets rid of his leftovers, which makes this thing just a little bit easier to take out. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. And I am going to switch out now. I don't want to take a burn on my Conkel Dur because I don't have Guts on it. I have the, Iron Fist ability. You know, the thing that powers up punching moves, something like that. But yeah, he is going to just go out into his own Conkel Dur against my Clefable, as I decide to go for the Soft Boil to get HP back. Now, obviously, as I said, this thing is weak to Fairy, but I'm worried right now because a lot of Conkel Durs will actually carry Poison Jab now, just for Fairy types. So I'm just going to go onto my Garchomp to see what he's going to do. I want to see if he has the Poison Jab, because I'm not confident I can kill with Moonblast in one hit, because it's probably an Assault Vest thing. But, yeah, I just go into Garchomp, and as you can see, he doesn't use it, which leads me to believe this thing, it was a bluff. It does not, in fact, have Poison Jab, which is good for me. Now, he goes out into Latios, which is a good play, because I just went for the Earthquake, and I'm just going to switch out. And I go out into my Scizor to take either Dragon move or a Psychic move. And, yeah, he does end up going for the Psyshock, which I resist. Now, I'm just going to go for the U-turn here. I kind of think that he's going to predict a Bullet Punch. So, I decide to change it up with a U-turn. I don't have Pursuit on this Scizor, and it is a Choice Band one, if you were wondering. So, I do end up getting some nice damage here on Quagsire. Quagsire is bulky, but isn't going to take a Choice Band U-turn that well. So, it's going to give me an opportunity now just to get a safe switch now into Clefable. And I'm just going to actually go for the Moonblast now, instead of just trying to set up with Calm Mind, because I kind of think he might go out into his Landorus, and I just don't want to give him that free switch. Instead, he ends up going into Conkel Dur, which is pretty amazing, because I can definitely 2-hit KO this thing, unboosted with a Moonblast. I end up just getting a crit, though. So, that just takes it out. I don't think it really mattered, because I think I definitely would have outsped Conkel Dur. And, as I said, it would have 2-hit KO'd anyway. Either way, he goes out into his Landorus, and I'm just going to try to get damage on it. I know I can take one Earthquake. He ends up critting, which really does hurt, actually, because, now I'm going to have to switch out Clefable and hope that I can heal it on something slower. Now, he does have quite a few Pokemon that are slower due to his team being, you know, a bulky team, but, yeah, I do have to switch out. At the very least, I did get some damage here in Landorus. I'm hoping that I can find a Pokemon that can just, you know, take this thing out, you know, whether it be Scizor or Conkel Dur. Now, I do have to sack something, though. Something is going to die to this Earthquake because it is faster than most things I carry, and, yeah, I just decided to sack Garchomp, figuring that Garchomp really did what it was supposed to do. And, yeah, it's probably my most expendable thing. So I go out into Scizor, and, once again, I decide to bluff the, Bullet Punch as he goes out into Latios, and I just go for the U-turn, which is pretty excellent, because that's going to be able to take out Latios, obviously, due to the weakness. Now, I can't go into Clefable here, because he could go right back in to his Landorus, which would be bad. So instead I decide to bring in my Conkel Dur, because, as I said, if I go into Clefable, he's obviously just going to go into Landorus, so then I'm going to have to sack something else. So he goes out into his Quagsire against my Conkel Dur, and I was afraid he was going to recover here, I was afraid he was going to recover here. I just go for the Drain Punch, hoping that he wouldn't. And I don't know whether he was predicting a Clefable switch and was hoping to kill me on my Clefable switch, or he didn't think that I would stay in and Drain Punch, but I'm going to be able to get the kill on the Quagsire, which is huge. And, yeah, I believe now that he's going to go into the Landorus, and this Landorus, I'm hoping that I can take an Earthquake with Conkel Dur. Now, Conkel Dur is a very bulky Pokemon. If I can just take one Earthquake, I can take this thing out. For over half health, and I do, at 12 HP. Super good for me. Get off that Ice Punch. Probably could have killed him with a knockoff, but that works too. And yeah, he just goes into his last Pokemon, which is Chansey, and he unfortunately does outspeed Conkel Dur, and I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose my Conkel Dur. Now, I could have probably just went... Well, I could have went into Clefable, obviously, and killed him that way, but I do have Superpower in my Twitch Band Scissor, so I'm hoping to end this a little bit faster. It's the only reason I'm not going with the safer play in Clefable, because I know for a fact that I can just calm-minded set up, eventually kill this Chansey. But as you can see, Superpower does the job, and that was a great game there, Toronto Pure. Very close, and definitely an interesting stall team you got there. Today's question of the day is, if you could bring one Pokemon back from the Smogon Uber list, what would it be? Now, there's a lot of Pokemon that I think really could be suspect tested back into the game. A lot of them that I don't really agree with their bans, but I understand why they are. As for me, I would probably say Greninja. But there's a few others I would like to see how they fare. One of them is the Bug type, the Bug Steel uh, Genesect. It is very versatile, but it has a weird base speed, which is actually just 99, which is actually really on the low end of, you know, is really on the low end of OU these days. And I don't know how it would fare. It probably would still be Uber in my opinion, but I'd still like to see it. I also didn't think Koopa Unbound was Uber, but that's just my opinion. And we'll leave a comment about that, and see you guys again next time. Later.